hopefully all of that is working and people can see both a presentation and myself. So maybe there's some new people who I'm streaming today because, as you know, we are doing a crowd investing, and perhaps some people have shown an interest that maybe they previously wouldn't have done. So just a quick introduction for myself. I'm Austin Kimm. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Crypterium, and I've effectively been here since the start. I was one of the founders with the shareholder, pretty much heavily involved with all sort of key strategic matters. So today's an important live stream, I think, because we are talking also about crowd investing, and I want to just update people as to where we are on that. But we need, first of all, to talk about what we've achieved in the last 4 or 5 weeks and our short-term plans. So I just want to let's start off, let's say, with the achievements. So apologies if my face gets in the way of some of these numbers. Hopefully, it's not a problem for anyone. Let's kick off with really how fantastic the start of this year has been for us. So on the screen here, a few metrics. So this is just for 2021. So we've had 100,000 new registrations on our platform in January and February. So all data is basically up to the 1st of March. So we've had 100,000 new users. We've now got 12 active B2B partners. And in the first 2 months of the year, we did approximately 450,000 transactions. Now, I just want to stress all numbers that I'm giving here are not audited. It's management information. It's only January and February, and of course, at the end of the quarter, there could be minor revisions. But these are, as accurate. You can see what this has done for our transactional volume in millions of euros. Our goal this year is to break 1 billion. It's in the Cedars investment materials. That is our goal. It's our business plan. We can't guarantee it because it is a business plan. But what you can see, I don't know whether you can see my arrow when I do this, but you can see this is the total transactional volume for 2020, and it shows it's approximately 115 million euros, close to 150 million dollars. And you can see that in January and February alone, we're approximately half of that. It's not exactly half, but it's approximately half. So in 2 months, we've done 50 all of. This is the last 6 months of 2021 plus January and February of this year. February, as I say, is January is not fully audited, but nevertheless, I think these numbers are reasonably accurate. So on the left-hand side is the total revenue we're bringing in, and on the right-hand side, is our actual gross profit that we get. And our gross profit is approximately 60% of the revenue. It's not quite an exact number, but whatever revenue we bring in, by the time we've paid for, I don't know, card issuance fees or exchange fees or internet fees or whatever it is, we have approximately 60% of the gross revenue. And you can see this trajectory. It really is, it is what they call a hockey stick sometimes when you do business planning. Now, guarantee that it carries on that direction. Of course, there is not. January and February, perhaps 2 of the most active months ever in cryptocurrency. Nevertheless, I think you'll agree with me that this trajectory explains this yellow bar. And I think what we're putting here in this yellow bar as our goal for the year is not unreasonable when you look at where we are heading. What is critical here is that the the understanding of where we're getting our new users and where we're getting our business. So I've already mentioned, I hope I've mentioned in the previous version, that B2B is a very important part of our business strategy. We have a slightly different business strategy than other people or other companies, in that most of them are going full retail. We have built really a very high quality retail platform, and we offer this out to our B2B customers. And there is almost an unlimited number of B2B opportunities out there. The only thing that is stopping us from bringing on more B2B partners is our capacity. New B2B partners require additional development resources, additional salesmen, etc. So the only thing that's slowing us down here is the resources that we have available. But you can see already how important the B2B is starting to become for us. So this is the total of our registrations. In 4 months, it's already a significant result, but at a more short term, you can see what percentage of our new user base is coming in from the B2B network. And that is then reflected, here's the registrations, is then reflected in the transactional volume. The two things are pretty much a mirror image of themselves. Okay, the percentages might be slightly different. It takes a few weeks for the people who register to become active. Nevertheless, we have really a unique opportunity here. So we believe that we've got a market leading retail application with a full range of services. Yes, of course, some other companies have very good applications as well. But as far as we can see, we're the only game in town here. And every single day, we are bringing on letters of intent and a whole range of partners ready to launch. The only thing that is slowing us, we just can't actually cope with the number of potential partners that we've got. So it is really a very exciting development. And as I've mentioned in the past, these partners, for all the good that we are doing for them, of course, we expect a fee. So there is an integration fee, and then on top of the integration fee, then we have minimum transactional volumes and sort of minimum fees, and then we do a profit share. So all these customers that we're bringing on are pretty much for free, and you could even argue for better than free. So when you look at our acquisition cost of new users, I am certain any other player on our space right now. And that's going to be a very important feature when the cryptocurrency market opens up and regular people on the street who currently only read about it start to receive loyalty tokens or whatever is going to be their need for a wallet. They are going to be looking for solutions. And that loyalty wallet, they're not going to build their own cryptocurrency solution. They will go to a company like Crypterium. So the ability to bring on a huge user base quickly and cheaply is really a core to our value proposition, and it is already playing some really significant benefits. Now let's look at what that reflects in our. So if you are new to Crypterium and you don't really fully understand where the token fits in, we have a token. The token is, we call it the fuel, and it is what is required to make a transaction inside the application. And we burn that token after the transaction. We have a fixed supply of tokens, and we gradually reduce that supply. So over time, we didn't have that much activity with our token burning, but over the last 4 months, you can see it rise. January was the biggest month, and the reason why January can work and be more than February is because at the moment we don't have the same fee for all transactions. Our CRPT is for crypto to fiat transactions. So even in a month when, as I've shown here, we have significantly increased revenue and gross profit, it means that more of that revenue and gross profit was coming from activities that didn't involve crypto to fiat. It involved effectively crypto to crypto. Now we are considering how we can improve some of that functionality, and I'll show you that on the next slide. But that just explains why February can be lower than January. But still, it's, I think, positive trend. So let's look at the CRPT roadmap. most of our users have some CRPT inside their application. Not everybody. A lot of people just use the wallet and don't really care. But there is a significant element of our user base that has CRPT. And probably the thing I get most comments about, most chats, is how can we improve the performance of our token on the exchanges in terms of price. So we did listen. I know we were taking your comments and advice very seriously. And this is our short-term roadmap as to what we are doing with the intention of improving the perception of the token and make it just relevant so that people can see it. So we did an update. There are now dedicated articles and sections about the token and why have it. This month we are adding the token to a number of additional wallets so that the token can be easily integrated. If somebody has another wallet and they don't want to keep it inside Crypterium, then it just makes it more accessible. The one that everybody always mentions to me, of course, is why are we not using the exchange's own marketing tools? Well, we are. We're going to start really pushing that from now. We're starting a lot of conversations with KuCoin, HitBCC, and so on to really push the visibility of our token. In April, we're going to allow people to buy the token inside the app for zero charge. That should be an attractive feature. And then the next few, April, May, these are all sort of interconnected. We are going to introduce a subscription style model inside the platform. I'm not going to describe all the features of the subscription model. I think it's just important to understand that there will be a range of different options. So for example, on Revolut, I pay €7 a month to be able to use cryptocurrency capabilities, but if I paid zero, I can have other features, but not that feature. And we are going to have something very similar, but we're also going to take into account the number of tokens that somebody has. So if you are, for example, a platinum token owner, you've got 25,000 tokens, most of the subscription models will probably be free to you. And those subscription models will have increased, let's say, interest rates on savings accounts, maybe reduced interest rate on loans or whatever, a whole range of different services and capabilities, so that if you own more tokens, the subscription is either cheaper or maybe even, in some cases, it could be free. There will be things like metal some enhanced features that are not available to non-token owners and things like that. So when I come onto that as a concept in the equity, please understand that it's just a matter of timing. So we are launching an equity crowd raiding now, and there's a lot of benefits for people who buy the equity. A lot of those benefits will also be made available to those people who have significant token ownership. It's just a matter of timing. So by the time we finish the crowd investing, the two things should be aligned. I would love to be able to announce everything at exactly the same time, but sometimes you just can't do that. So that is the plan. So as far as I understand, we're at subscriptions. I got a message from marketing say, you've disappeared again at subscriptions. So here we go. So as I was saying, the idea here is that together with the subscription model, we will have a range of token benefits that to some degree mirror the type of benefits that you're going to see in the equity section. The idea is that, as with many financial institutions, you can have a range of different services. You can have the everything is for just a pay-as-you-go model. You pay for every transaction. Maybe you don't get the highest interest rate on certain accounts, but that's okay because you don't pay any monthly fee. Then at the other end of the scale, we'll have a full range of subscriptions, and some of those subscriptions will in fact be free for our token owners depending on how many tokens they have. And those subscriptions will include the type of benefits that I'm going to show you in the equity program. Now, I would love that we were able to launch all of these benefits before we launch the equity program, but sometimes things don't work out that way. So just for now, if you're a token owner, you own a significant number of tokens, please just bear in mind that the type of things that I'm going to present in a moment with regards to the equity will also come into different subscription packages for token owners, and for some of you, you're going to get them all for free if you own enough tokens. And then that will lead onto an improved monthly loyalty program. And ultimately, all of those things together, we should end up with a higher burning rate. So we are very focused on making sure that the CRPT token is not lost in the noise of equity raising. And I would argue the more that we are able to raise in equity, the more that we can develop the business. The more that we develop the business combined with all of this, the more tokens we burn, and everybody is a winner. That's at least the vision I have, and I think that so far we've seen that the more business we get, the more that we're burning. So of course, if we can get even more business as a consequence of increased equity, plus all of these benefits, really we should see a significant upside. Next, quick review of the app updates that we've made in the past month. Nothing I would say absolutely significant this time. They're all sort of general improvements. For example, a wallet redesign release for Android, etc. But all, I would say, just steadily getting better and better. For example, the Crypterium Visa transaction history. I know some people have asked me that in the past. Now it's available. So I would say it wasn't a major month for some giant launch, but not every month can have a giant launch, but we continue to improve the wallet. And all of these features are available for our B2B partners as well. So every time we make an improvement in the retail app, we also make an improvement in the retail app. And I know you're probably already bored of me talking about the B2B integration, but I just want to stress how unique we are. We are the only game in town, and let me just put this into perspective. You are let's say a financial services company that offers forex trading or something like that. It doesn't really matter. And you say, what I'd really like to do, well, I've got my own token. I'd really like to bring in my own token. I would love to have my own Visa card where the token can be spent on the Visa card. I'd like a full wallet where that token can be integrated with other services, maybe savings accounts, or it could be exchanged for Bitcoin, cash out, whatever it is. And I'd like to do all of that very quickly and attach it to all my existing functionality inside my own app. Or maybe I don't even have an app and I'd like to have one in the next couple of months. Now, we are the only company that can do all of that for someone that we are aware of quickly and relatively cost effectively. So imagine that you're a company and you have a token, and you first thing you have to say is, well, is my token secure? Do I have a custody capability? Now, if you go to BitGo, yes, you can get custody capability on BitGo, but they might charge you 30,000 euros a month, and you'll be 12 months down the line waiting for to hit the priority list. So we've built our own custody capability inside the application. Next, you've got to have liquidity. How do I get that token onto a Visa card? You can't just spend the token, literally spend the token on the Visa card inside a store. It has to be converted. So that requires liquidity, that requires integration with exchanges. So there's a whole range of features. And what I'm showing on the screen here, a couple of companies that launched in the last couple of weeks. And the card here is if you've got a Crypterium Visa card, you'll recognize it, but it's also not quite Crypterium. You can see that it doesn't have the word Crypterium on it. It's a different color, etc. And we can make those cards pretty much any design that we want. We also have the ability, although it takes a little bit longer, to joint brand the card with Visa. Now, Visa are very happy to have a joint branding, but it just takes a little bit longer. They have to audit the company, etc. But what that means is from the moment that they talk to us, within 2 months, they can have their own Visa card printed, ready to go. Inside the application, they can automatically download. You can see here on the right-hand side, slightly different color of the card for this particular partner, and they can have all of that up and running for a very small fee. So this is a core functionality that we have that we don't believe anyone else has. And when I go back to all the other comments I made about how it's starting to have an impact on our business, there are thousands and thousands of companies out there, and I'm already talking to quite a few of our token owners who are introducing me to companies that are interested in this functionality, and they range all over the show. So not only are we improving the general functionality of the application on a retail basis, that immediately translates into the B2B section. Okay, let's now talk about the crowd investing. The crowd investing is a very important part. I just want to make the usual statement that please, everything I'm saying now is about the company. Everything that is relevant for investing, and your money is at risk if you invest in equities, etc. All of that is valid. So please check with the Seedrs platform, and please don't take anything I'm saying here as that we are a cast iron gold standard investment that you can never lose your money on. That is not the case. We are like any other investment, so please take that into account. Nevertheless, we've had a fantastic start. We launched on March the 9th, which was Tuesday. Today is Friday. And we set ourselves really quite I would say a very modest goal. We set ourselves a goal of €1 million. The last thing you want to do is go on a platform and say, we want to raise 2 million, and then 3 months later, or let's say 3 weeks later, you're at 300,000. You look a bit stupid. So we did set ourselves, a very modest goal, what we thought was a modest goal of €1 million, and we hit that number in the first 36 hours. Now, just going back, it's for a private launch. This is all we're talking about now, is the private launch. In fact, I think I checked about 2-3 hours ago. We're about 1.1 million now, and about 570 people. Now, 570 investors might not sound a lot if you're thinking of, I don't know, Microsoft or Apple or someone, but 570 private investors in a crowd invest is actually a significant number. When you go into Seedrs and you see the number of campaigns that they have running at any one time, and you see how many people have invested, 500 is a good target, but that includes the entire history of that campaign. Right now, all we are talking about is a small number of people who pre-registered from our own emails to our own user base. We have not gone live yet on the Seedrs platform, and all we have done is communicated with those people who initially responded that they were interested. That's about 3,600 people that we were able to take on the platform, and I'll explain that in a moment. So when we go live, we will have a banner inside the application telling everybody we're live. That may even be active now, I'm not sure. We will have a wider range of marketing activities, and of course we will appear on the Seedrs platform as a live environment. So I don't know what the realistic long-term number is here. This was the sort of the minimum goal. We hit it, but that's not where we wanted to stop. I also want to stress that I think I've pointed this out in the previous one. The crowd investing is not the long-term vision here. The long-term vision is for us to be a global application with global capability, and that requires global partnerships, global acquisitions of maybe companies, etc. So we are also actively, whilst Seedrs is taking place, we are also actively looking for institutional investors. And right now is the best time there has ever been, I think, for cryptocurrency style institutional investment. 12 months ago, people didn't even use the word cryptocurrency. They came up with different options, digital assets or whatever. Now, investment firms are very, very active in this space, and we are working with several companies to potentially acquire additional capital, a much more significant capital than you can see on the screen here. It might take 6 months. Institutional investors take a while, but we have some really exciting opportunities out there. But what this investment does for us, it gives us that runway to carry on improving all of those features that we're currently working on. We're not quite at the full break-even, level. We're sort of tottering on break-even. Maybe 1 month we might need to dip into our resources a little bit. But what it does is it enables us to expand that capability. So as I mentioned, we have more potential customers in the B2B space than I have developers that can bring them on board. Even though it's a relatively simple process, creating a custody capability, maybe they've got a new exchange that we haven't integrated with in the past, they all take resources. So instead of having maybe 1 new partner a week, I can have 3 new partners a week, and that then has a knock-on impact. But of course, costs come first and then revenue comes second. So this gives us the runway to carry on doing really what we think is right in our expansion. We could do some additional marketing for higher retail, new user base, etc. And whilst we're doing that, we're looking for significant investment through institutional investors. So we're really happy with the way it's gone. One thing that's a little bit sad is that we still haven't found a full list of countries that any one platform can take. Cryptocurrency is global. Equity is still not global, unfortunately. And just because we have customers from 170 countries doesn't mean that we were able to sell equity to people from 170 countries. So we have some restrictions that we've just not been able to overcome. We hope to be able to overcome some of them, but there will be some countries which we just cannot, unfortunately, find a solution for. So if there's a Canadian who is listening, my apologies. We just cannot find a solution that allows an international company like Crypterium to sell equity to a Canadian citizen. Some countries have what they call accreditation. You can be a significant investor if you've shown that you've got A, income, and B, capability. And we hope to have a solution for that. So we had something like 6,000 people pre-register, but unfortunately we were only able to accommodate at the beginning 3,500 of them, approximately that. But we do hope to be able to fix that situation in the nearest future for some countries, but there will be a few which, no matter how hard we try, we're just going to not be able to match this. There is one caveat to that. If they want to be a direct investor and the sum is significant, and by significant it would have to be over 50,000 euros, then we can probably look at it not from a traditional marketing perspective, but as a direct investor into Crypterium, and there are other vehicles we can use. So if there are potential investors who say, well, I'm going to put a lot of money in, we can treat you the same way we could treat you another investment fund. The USA has a very strange rule, for example. You can market to 35 people, or I think you can take equity from 35 people, provided they're already known to you and you can prove it wasn't through a general marketing campaign. So there are a few things that we can do. But right now, we're doing fantastic with those that we can take, but there are still a few that we're working on being able to take. And there are also some fantastic benefits. And when I'm going through these benefits, if you're a significant token owner, think, will these benefits be available for me? If you're a platinum token owner, for example, inside the platform, and if you are, you know what I'm talking about, then a lot of these benefits are going to be available for you in the future. So at the one end of the scale, we've got the investor, the person who does 100, say, to 500 euro. And then at the other end of the scale, someone who really goes big and says, right, I want to be a major player. And I'm not going to go through a line by line, but some of these benefits are very significant. We'll have a dedicated card for very significant token owners and very significant equity owners. We're giving cash back on certain transactions. Certain areas we're improving the deposit rate. So for example, the CRPT deposit rate at the moment, if I'm not wrong, is 7.2% for 12 months, whereas if you were investing a significant sum of money, you'd get 14%. Now, I'm not saying that you should invest 50,000 just to improve the interest rate you can get on a deposit, but these are very nice benefits, and we're giving cash back, etc. So there are some very attractive benefits. There's also one additional benefit which I just want to explain, because maybe we haven't worded it as perfectly as we could, and there were a few questions that we came up with. So if you invest in equity, depending on how much you invest in equity, we'll give you back some of that equivalent, really, in our CRPT token. We want our equity owners to also be CRPT token owners, and not every equity buyer will be. As I mentioned, we haven't yet even launched wide on the Seedrs platform. So if, for example, you invested 5,000 euros, then you'd get 5 CRPT. You basically get 1 CRPT for every euro you invested. You get 5 for 5. But then if you're already a significant token owner, then you will get a bonus on that. Now, we have had a lot of, let's say, negative pushback, because we announced a long time ago that there was going to be a special event with relation to people tying up the tokens inside the application. We had a number of reasons for that, and this is the first of them. Now, we expected to go live with the Seedrs in very early January, but for a number of reasons it didn't happen. So time ticked on, and we probably announced things too early. But nevertheless, if you did listen to us, then and you locked up a certain number of tokens, then the cashback improvements on the purchase of equity are significant. We will have other features related to the special event that is not related to equity, but again, it's taking us a bit longer than we thought we would take, and that is still to come. But right now, we had 2 or 3 key features, and this is one of them. So let me just put things into perspective. I'll give a few examples here. So if you are not a token owner of Crypterium, you don't own any significant tokens, or if you do, it's just a few tokens. Then if you bought, I don't know, 3,000 euros worth of equity, then you're going to get 1,800 tokens back in cashback. Now, if you take into account the fact that we are locking in those tokens for a period of 12 months, the lock-in is on our own platform, and if you take into account that all of those features that we're talking about to try and improve the token price, we shouldn't think about just how much value that could be today. We should be thinking, what value could that be in 12 months' time? So it's going to get locked up, and in 12 months' time, I don't know what the token price will be. It could be lower. I mean, that's the reality. It could be lower. But if we do all the things that we're doing, and the business improves the way that it's improving, and we use the equity that we raise here to bring on all those extra benefits I've been talking about, both for token management and just the general business, it is just as likely, and I would hopefully more likely, that the token price would be higher than it is today. So there is really a big incentive here for people to invest in that. It's not. I really don't want to overstep my boundaries here as to making it sound like this is a free transaction, because it really may not be, but there is a potential that you could really get a lot of your equity investment back very, very easily through the appreciation of our token. And you can see here sort of the numbers. But if you were already a silver or gold token owner, then there's a 30% bonus on that. Same numbers, just with a bonus. And if you are a platinum token owner, and by the way, we've got approximately 150 platinum token owners on our platform, then the bonus there would be even more significant. We have a maximum, of course, and we also have a limit to how many tokens we can give away. But nevertheless, I think this is a very attractive proposition. But comes with a caveat again. We can't guarantee what the price of the token will be in the future. Could be lower, and secondly, there is no guarantees when buying equity. But personally, I'm very excited by what it could do for us. Plans for the next couple of months. We've been talking about IBAN fiat accounts for a while. It is almost there, really. It's just at that last tipping point to launch IBAN fiat accounts for your European token owners. We've talked about the subscription model that will be launched in the next 2 months. And then there's a sort of a range of other things here, history, details, redesign, things like that. In terms of the B2B, we're talking about custody. We already have a custody capability. We built that at the end of last year, but custody is a very complicated thing. It's very easy for us now to do an ERC20 type token, but if someone comes with a brand new chain, that can take time. So there are some enhancements there. We will launch a significant number of new partnerships, and hopefully we'll improve the product delivery process. What is currently taking us 8 weeks could be done in 4 weeks if we just streamlined what we're doing. So I would, again, no major, I would say, development on the B2B side. The biggest development on the B2C side will be the IBAN accounts. But there were also a few questions. I go through the chat, and actually there weren't that many things which I haven't already covered, I think. When USA card issuance, yeah, I think this is a very, very valid point, and we were holding back on this until we were very confident that we could do something significant. And with the success of the crowd investing that we're currently seeing, and the belief that the way the market is progressing, Bitcoin today is what, $55,000. Whereas when we started looking at the USA, it was, I don't know, $6,000 or $7,000 this time last year, maybe even less than that. We have a lot more confidence to really go at it, because there is no point in us doing the USA and they're just saying, here's a Visa card. We have to have appropriate customer service teams. We have to have appropriate, let's say, bonus programs. People talk about cashback and maybe benefits. You can't just have one benefits program for all over the world, etc. So we needed to make sure that we were capable of doing it. We have a partner. We have two potential partners, actually. It will still take us, let's not oversell this. This will still take us 5 months, but I'm very confident that we will launch that this year. In terms of EMI UK, an e-money license or an e-money institution license, we applied for full registration in the UK. We got preliminary approval for the UK. Then the question is, what is the benefit of having a full e-money institutional license? So the way that we review our strategy right now is we focus on those things that have high margin, and we outsource those things which we believe have low margin. Fiat currency accounts have a low margin. Companies like Monzo, Revolut, even though they've got 10 million customers, lose a lot of money. And they may have fantastic valuations, but they still lose a lot of money. It is very hard to make money out of a fiat currency account. And an e-money institution license enables us to do that. So our current step-by-step process is to make sure that we are licensed for everything cryptocurrency in the key markets that we want to be in. So UK, we went through the process, we got the preliminary approval, and we don't really need to do anything else there. We're just waiting for that certificate that says here you are 100% confirmed. But the preliminary approval enables us to carry on out of the UK. And then when it comes to the the e-money institution license, we are working with a third party right now to provide the IBAN account. And I believe that although we may well go down the path of getting various licenses, why is an EMI license out of the UK any more valuable, for example, than getting the equivalent out of Japan or out of Thailand or wherever? So it is much quicker and much more straightforward to find partners that can do a lot of that transaction activity for us using their licenses. And it's very similar to what we are doing on our white label B2B solution. So the partners that you saw before, they do not have a cryptocurrency license. They cannot operate under cryptocurrency conditions. They umbrella underneath the Crypterium license, and that's why we control still the KYC. We still control the type of transactions. We still do the fraud monitoring. And if we work with a partner for fiat currency services, we will be under their wings, under their umbrella. So we are interested in getting licenses, and it is a longer term picture that we may have a global license network. But equally, it is much faster on a global scale to partner with companies that have those licenses, provided, of course, that we're not giving too much of the margin away. So we focus on those things where there's relatively high margin today, and cryptocurrency is still a relatively high margin business. And we are still partnering with companies that provide the fiat currency capabilities. Again, let me give you another example. If we go to the USA, I wouldn't even know where to start to find the equivalent of the EMI license for the whole of the USA. But there will be a partner out there that already has a full fiat currency capability that can integrate inside our application. That would be phase one, and then maybe later down the line we would replace them with our own license. But it's not number one on our list. So they were the sort of the key points that people have asked me that I don't think I've covered. Most of the questions I get are usually related to the token. And finally, I just wanted to confirm that from now on, we will make a live stream every single month on effectively the same day of the month. So the second Friday of every month, there will be a live stream. And together with that live stream will be a presentation like this that will be downloadable. I just need to double check on legalities right now with regards to the crowd investing. So maybe, I don't know whether I can post this one fully, but if I can, this one will also be made available. But once we have got out of the crowd investing, you will see a regular monthly report, and you will see the same day every single month there will be a live stream. Now, not that many people usually tune into the live stream as I'm doing it, which is probably good news since this is my third or fourth version of it so far today. But my marketing team, they'll be able to hopefully edit this together and make one thing that works. But nevertheless, I think it is important that we start to professionalize not just inside the application, but how we communicate outside the application. And if somebody would like to see somebody else other than me do the live stream, yeah, I'm more than happy to allow somebody else have, the glory of doing this once a month. Maybe Stephen can make the next one, our CEO or head of product, for example, and we might just change the focus of the live stream. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Apologies for technical problems. I think it was the Loom software. My computer maybe just isn't good enough to cope with two streams running at the same time. And just to cap off, we've really had a fantastic start to the year. We're carrying on the trajectory we saw starting sort of the end of or the start of Q4 last year, and everything is going in a positive direction. Income, new users, the B2B is starting to really kick in, and I think our platform is also starting to be generally better, less downtime, less errors. But just one last caveat, when you grow as fast as we're growing, sometimes the chatter is that we are, maybe we're not doing as well as we should be. But when you've got 100,000 new users coming on board, and let me put this out, 100,000 new users from 170 different countries with 170 different styles of passport, documentation, different requirements locally, we will hit the odd bump. But nevertheless, I'm very comfortable that we're moving in the right direction. And if we can have an even more successful equity campaign than we've currently got, I think we're really on a very positive trajectory. So thank you for listening. Sorry for the errors, and I will see hopefully all of you again on the second Friday of April.